Ladies and gentlemen, we're now delighted to be joined over the telephone by our guest for the afternoon, Dr. Sayed Khouly, Professor of Management. Dr. Sayed, good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Thank you, Doctor, for your time. And let me start, Doctor, by asking you about the message that President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi conveyed about the importance of Egyptian workers and their role as key partners when it comes to Egypt's development and expanding job creation.
First of all, I would really like to congratulate all our labor force in Egypt. That is the driving force for economic development. That is very important.
Yes.
And for President Sisi to attend this Labor Day today, it gave a message for the whole world. Egypt is in producing and competing in many different stages in the economy, regardless for what's going on around us.
Yes.
Remember, he didn't have this kind of celebration in a conference room or in just a meeting. He did it with one of the mega projects, which it has a partnership between public sector and the private sector, which is the Swiss Steel Company.
Yes.
Which it really gave a message for who's going to rebuild Gaza, who's going to rebuild Syria, who's going to rebuild Sudan, who's going to rebuild Libya. Egypt, they have now the steel construction to provide all materials. It's made in Egypt. That is the slogan which President Sisi, when he came to power, he has this slogan which is made in Egypt. Now Egypt is standing in a very, very strong position in producing all different requirements after in the last 10 years we built the infrastructure in terms of road, tunnel, bridges, and so on, which is the logistic. Now we focus on industry, If you recall in your program, I said several times we should build more factories than malls. Now we're building more factories than malls. Egypt is considered to be, my prediction for the future in Egypt, it will be the hub for industrial hub for all different regions, for Africa, for Middle East, for European countries, because of the logistic cost and what we face from the higher cost of transportation.
Absolutely.
And not only that, the steel industry, he really inaugurated and opened today another mega project, which is pharmaceutical company, which produce the demand for Egyptian from medical supply in terms of heart disease, in terms of many medication which we didn't find in the local market, and we used to import it from other sides. Now Egypt will be able to satisfy its local demand, and the excess will go for exporting medication to the rest of the world. And also the President Sisi gave a message which is a very strong message for developing a new labor laws, which it has an effect in today, which it gives the power and a lot of benefit for our labor forces. That is very important day for Egypt and for the government and for the leadership in Egypt.
Dr. Sayed, now the President also spoke about some of the most important recommendations for the government that he spoke about in his speech, mentioning 5 recommendations and directives he's given to the Egyptian government, one of which is dealing with the issue of informal laborers and solidifying their rights. And this is a very important recommendation by the President.
Of course, one of the very important recommendations is empowering women workforce also, which give them all right and equal right as men for labor force. That is very, very important recommendation. And he also, President Sisi offer and stress for the government is to help in training and developing the skills and the competency for Egyptian workers. Remember, 4 years ago, President Sisi, he mentioned we should go from traditional industry to the fourth industrial revolution. And as we saw today, we saw fourth industrial revolution in our manufacturing, whether in the steel organization, whether it's for pharmaceutical, they use state-of-the-art technology in order to produce a high level of quality of our products.
Indeed. Dr. Said, now the state is also playing a major role in providing job opportunities for the Egyptians as well as the Egyptian youth. And today we saw President Sisi handing out awards to some young entrepreneurs. How important do you see this collaboration for Egyptian entrepreneurs?
Let's talk about the very important ratio which it never happened in Egypt before. Now the unemployment rate is less than 6%. And what does that mean? We build more and more factory. We are hiring more and more employees with high skills and so on. And also, if you take a look for whatever happened in the last 5 years, which is the startup business, which is depending on creativity and innovation of our young generation.
Yes.
Now our youth, it doesn't depend in governmental job.
No.
It really depends on themselves where they come with a creative and innovative idea to start up this business.
Indeed.
And
Dr.
remember,
Said,
there is an initiative which is EBDA,
yes,
which enables the young youth to build their own business.
Yes, Dr. Said, allow us to take a very short break and we'll be right back to continue our discussion, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Still delighted to have with us over the telephone our guest for the afternoon, Dr. Said Al-Khouly, Professor of Management. Dr. Said, once again, thank you so much, Doctor, for your time this afternoon.
You're very welcome.
Doctor, now the state plays a major role as well in developing workers' skills and abilities, and the President today spoke about the need to ensure that Egyptian workers have good preparation for the needs of the workforce. How important is this, and what technical training and skill development capacities are being provided for Egyptian workers?
Now Egypt has the National Center for Developing Skills and so on, and that's for nationwide. We have technical skills, we have interpersonal skills, and also the Ministry of Communication issued now a lot of programs to integrate artificial intelligence and the use of artificial intelligence in all different means or all different sectors in Egyptian economy. Of course, training and enhancing the skills and the competency of our workforce, it is a very important ingredient to attract more and more and more, whether it is private investment or foreign direct investment. Remember, the more successful story we have the labor force, the labor cost is considered to be very competitive compared with any other country, whether it is nearby country or European country or Asian country. Egypt labor cost is very, very low comparing with other nations. And also Egypt has the location, which is Egypt considered to be the center of the world. And as I mentioned to you, Egypt in the future, it will be the hub because of high cost of transportation costs. We have all means now, all the logistics facility, which it enables us to attract more and more foreign direct investment.
Absolutely.
Also, Egypt have the materials, the raw materials, which we can really add value to it. Instead of exporting raw material, now we are exporting component part. And if you can see, a couple of years, 3 years ago, where we opened the black sand industry in Kafr Sheikh, it adds value. And now we are gaining a lot of money and a lot of prosperity from this kind of project.
Indeed. And finally, Dr. Said, the state, of course, has also enacted the new labor law. What can you tell us about this law and the importance of having laws in place in order to protect the rights of Egyptian workers?
Of course, when the new law is stated in a very, very affirmative way, the right of labor for security and safety of our workforce.
Yes.
The new law, it has a lot of components. And also the new law, add to it is the woman empowerment in the labor sector, which they give them a lot of rights in terms of reward, in terms of incentive, in terms of training, in terms of expanding their career path in industrial area. I believe we can summarize the speech of President Sisi today in 4 major dimensions.
Right.
Issuing the new labor law, empowering women labor,
Yes.
training and development and for competitiveness for our Egyptian worker, irregular employment. The new law included also irregular employment, and they are really a major part of our employment sector.
Absolutely.
And also the law included the new entrepreneur business and startup business in order to secure all our workforce, even with the homemade and all of that included in the law.
Indeed.
So the President Sisi, really, God bless him and God bless Egypt for having this kind of leadership, which take care of all Egyptians and be able to increase and for better life and for a secure life for all Egyptian people.
Indeed. Dr. Sayed El Khouly, the Professor of Management, I'd like to thank you very much, sir, for your time and your insight and for joining us on today's episode of Cairo Local Time.